looks like Toby is obviously not here, so I don't know if he's forgotten or what, but we do have enough members for a quorum tonight, and start off by introducing Dan Ely and his daughter Sylvia. They're here tonight to talk about Phase 4 of Northwind Estates. So I know there's been much discussion the past 3 meetings about the subdivision out here, and they're here tonight to see what they need to do to move forward. I know I've had some conversations with Dan, and I know he's anxious to get started, and as I've shared with him, we need to get our ducks in a row and figure out just exactly what he needs to do and moving forward. So we had a list of 7 items, and I think I gave you a copy of that, Dan, and that has been revised. I noticed tonight, and Andy, I'm going to allow you to touch on this.
Okay. I just added a few extra things in, which you guys really want to reference. Johnny asked me to. So in your subdivision control ordinance, really what applies to this is going to be in section 5, under major subdivision plats, and then also, or Article 5, excuse me, and then Article 2, which is administration. Article 2 really Article 2 deals with basically your legal requirements, okay, as far as your advertising, your public hearing, notification of adjoining property owners. But under, I had it on it, it's all the way back out, all the way to the very back. It's they're not numbered in with the sequence, it's like the last 30 pages there or so.
There it is.
Yeah, so Article 5, the major subdivision plat, will have all of the requirements. Some of those will not be
Article
used.
5's in the back too.
Yeah, it's all there.
It's all in the back.
It's all in the
Yeah, the
back.
subdivision control ordinance, the whole ordinance is in the back.
Major subdivision.
It's broken into like 8 sections.
Okay.
There's a minor, like Article 4 is minor subdivision, Article 5 is major. This falls under major. Now, since it's a replat of an existing subdivision, some of these primary steps you will be skipping. You'll really be looking at secondary plat. I mean, what's
Pam, I don't believe it's in that book.
That's why I said I knew some of them didn't. I had a book that didn't have it. It's all the way at the very.
I got an Article 5, but
Probably
it's
clear in the
well
back.
No,
had
that-
protection.
That's it.
It's clear in the back.
It's Article 5.
It's
like
another
that.
Article
If
5.
it's in
Major
there.
sub.
It's another, yeah, if it's in there, because mine at home it's not in there.
Because really you need a plan commission book. This is the regular ordinance book, so it's not in this one.
Okay.
I don't know if there's, Robin has more copies of it. Oh, here you go. There's a printed copy. It's not
Thank you.
Not punched for your book, but it's.
All right, thanks.
It's got everything in it. So, one of the other things in your packet I put was the revised application of the planning commission. It's in the packet of papers I gave you. So, what you're gonna be looking at, the things he's gonna be doing, is gonna be about the 6th one down. It's gonna be a resubmitted or amended primary plat. It's gonna be also, if it's going to be built like the existing subdivision, there will be 2 developmental standard variances. And then finally, the last one they want to change the commercial area on State Road 19 back to residential. Will be a change of zoning classification. In your, in Article 5, there'll have to be a letter submitted for the development standards variance as to why they want that. And also the change of zoning classification for the amended primary plat. There's a list, which part of it's been done, but it's the application, assigning a docket number, paying the fee, your review of that, review of those plans. The engineer has reviewed it. They had three minor things, really. That letter is also attached in your packet. There's an existing manhole structure that's there, which is 8424 in the sanitary sewer system. It's not located within the platted right-of-way, and on the prints, it would be the southmost manhole on those prints, down where the road curves around. So there's going to have to be an adjustment made to that building lot to get the manhole back in the right-of-way, or move the manhole, one or the other. I mean, either one would be acceptable. Adjusting the yard is going to be the simplest one.
Right.
Just including making a little hook
And
around
I
it.
take it that'd have to be a redraw on the plans?
Yeah, and when they survey that lot and do the recording and file it at the courthouse, I mean, it's going to reflect
Right.
that the points change and go around that manhole. And on their final submission, all the hydrants and valves need a specification of manufacturer, which we use Mueller valves and hydrants. So the final map, because on that, which I've talked to Miller Surveying, the biggest lot on there, they split into 2 lots, but half of that's really unbuildable. So either combine it back, or you'll have a building lot that can never be built on.
And there again, it needs to reflect that change
On the final
plans.
On the final one, yeah. The last thing, which wasn't specified on the drawings that they listed, which was, 6-inch water mains with isolation valves at the 2 points of connection to the existing system. Those are the 3 things that the engineer found that were.
And those are not on those current plans?
Right.
Okay, and they need to be added.
Yeah, so it's pretty minor, really.
Now, does that just require Miller's or whatever
Yeah.
Dan wants to use to get that?
When they do the final.
Here's what I was told, and I need you to make it reflect that on the
Yeah.
resubmitted plan.
Right.
And
The final one, because the last set would be, all the information and the legal description, everything will be recorded at the courthouse. So they just need to make the corrections before the final approval, and that gets recorded.
Okay.
Like I said, it's 3 pretty minor things there. So, once the application's filled out, submitted, you guys give it a docket number. It's gonna have to get verification on it. It will, which, that's number 4. I changed on the list there. Public hearing must be held for the final approval. It's gotta be advertised one time at least 10 days in advance of the hearing. And you can reference that under section 2, or article 2, section 2.1. It gives the whole description of it. And then the other one is for all the property owners, 2 properties deep surrounding the property, have to be notified by certified mail at least 10 days prior to the hearing. And a copy of the legal ad has to be submitted back with that, and also the certificates from the mailing. And if somebody doesn't pick it up, you just bring it unopened on
And
the
that all
back.
comes in with the application.
Right, and for like where Bex is across the street, it would only be 1 property. It's 2 properties unless the property is 600 or more feet. So, I mean, it wouldn't be Bex. annexing somebody a mile away.
Right.
It would just be there.
And that is up to the developer to get that information, those addresses.
Well, the courthouse will print them out
Right.
for you.
And I think you can go on the county's website, it tells
Yeah,
you
they got that
who
program.
the homeowners are, the address of the,
They got the program, it'll generate a whole list for you.
okay.
I haven't dealt with that as much, I know Robin has with the BZA. Cause they do it for that. I said the plan review's done, so.
Does that include Jackson there on,
Jackson, what?
that's who lives there is Jackson, right before,
It's just
The only
two,
house
it's
there
just two
next
two
back.
properties deep for anything that abuts the subject property. So it'll generate a list. The courthouse, I mean, they will at the courthouse. They have a program. They just will plug in the parcel number and it'll just,
don't know.
it'll print a list right out. I mean, I know they do it. I don't know who you have to contact. Like I said, Robin does, but I know they do it for people when they get variances through the BZA. It generates a list. So, what I do is call them. But basically, everything that covers it is in Article 5 and Article 2. Will cover everything.
So basically, going over this list of 10 items,
Well, you know, some of them are shortened down. I mean, there's, as far as the information that's in the application is in Article 5. I mean,
I think that directs us to that article and then
Right.
there's an expanded,
right, it's
You know.
expanded out and you can see it. I mean,
you guys, you got an application, didn't you? For the planning commission? Got one of those? Do you have that with you by chance tonight? I guess we need to look over that and see.
now, my understanding, with the application, all this has to come with the application.
I'm gonna try to figure out here what they need
All right.
to complete that. Since those other items were added, I don't know, it may not be complete. It may not be complete. So, the resubmit the amended primary plat, has that been done?
well,
You know, is that-
it'll all be, we've got their preliminary plan.
They gotta make those changes,
But, I mean, part of that for the submittal is that application there,
okay?
and then the information about the design standards variance, and then also, the change of zoning. So,
And we need, I mean, the ad in the paper's gotta be
Development standards variance.
ran.
yeah, and if you do one, I mean, my suggestion to streamline it, rather than do that, is to advertise all three of those, you know, in one ad with one hearing date, and that way, you know, you're not returning, you can do the approval of your final plat. And that'll streamline the process.
We can't take any action tonight, I don't think, because there's, you know, we have to do the adding, the advertising,
Yeah,
get the adjustments made to the plat, the fees. I mean, I don't know how the commission or the board is gonna do that, but
it's, I was gonna say, if you go into section 5, it's pretty,
yeah.
it's
It's not
pretty laid out.
explained.
Yeah.
What's our next step, Andy? Walk us
Just
through this.
submit that application with the fees, the letter for the design standards variance, and.
And a reason why, I mean, just
Yeah,
a
reason
letter
why,
why
what
you
it
would-
is, I mean,
I don't
If
think
you wanna
that's gonna
keep
be
them in the two,
a problem.
the two design standard variances that Paul Hopkins asked for and received originally were, there's no sidewalks,
Right,
there's no streetlights, it's in the covenants, but each home has to have a light pole in the front yard on dusk to dawn light. I don't know if it says next to the driveway or not, but most of them are next to the driveway by the sidewalk going to the front door. So those were the two things, because if not, it would be sidewalks that would go nowhere, and it would be streetlights in one half of it and no streetlights in the other half of it. So,
Yeah, it's for safety
I
reasons.
mean, if you're keeping the continuity of what has already
Right.
been built, it would be those two variances to the design standards. And then the last one, the other issue is if they do want to rezone those, it's, I'm not sure, 5 or 6 commercial lots south of Dollar General back to residential, because right now they are commercial. They were started out originally as residential, and Paul had changed them to commercial. When we were doing our map, that was one of his requests that was approved. So those lots, but they stay commercial. In their current zoning classification, you couldn't build a house on them. So if you
Right.
want to put houses on there, so you'd need a letter. And really, it could probably be one letter versus two, but explaining both the design standard and
Well,
the zoning change, the development standards variance and the change of zoning classification really could be the same thing, because, I mean, essentially, there was an issue with Paul Hopkins, courthouse, with Colonial Discount Homes, who originally did that. They had recorded a plat, Paul recorded a plat, which were essentially the same, with a few changes, and no one at the courthouse caught it until years later. So you had, every lot had 2 different parcel numbers and stuff, and the county came back and said, we are not going to transfer any more lots until this is corrected. So section 4 and section 5, which is kind of by the blacksmith, that area, those 2 sections had to be, they were to be vacated and then replatted under Paul's only. So the county, it went through a process with the council approved the vacation, first plan commission, then the council. So Paul had them vacated, but just never re-recorded his plat. And those, both Miller Surveying and Wyatt Johnson did work for Paul on that. Miller Surveying did these for Dan. It is off of Paul's as-bills for the infrastructure that's already there. It is other than that lot that I think Miller split because it was big to add an extra lot and didn't realize that storm drain was through there. It is, once that is put back, it is identical to the plan that was approved by Paul.
Yeah.
Or for Paul, not by Paul, for him.
are you using Miller's Den to do your drawings? Okay.
Yeah. And like I said, they've done
Right.
a lot of that, and they've done the survey work out there before, but basically it is a
Yeah.
replat of what was already existing. All the major storm lines are in, of course, the street under drains and that are not. All of the sanitary sewer is in, almost all of the sewer laterals are in already based off of that original design. There are, I'm not sure, between 4 and 6, I think, that are left to be installed out of the 22 lots to the east. The part of the water main that shows up on his print is already in on the east side, and part of it where they will connect onto on the west side, the north end. Now that's the as-built
Okay.
for Paul, just to give you an idea.
Now,
That is,
Now, what, oh no, I don't know, it had anything to do with us, but street name and addressing, is that, do you know that, Dan? Do you know what street's gonna be named?
We haven't decided on it.
Well,
well-
part of that might be, part of that will be dictated by the county because.
Right.
I'm not
I know.
sure, because what you're gonna get into.
You have to submit those
The whole
to the
street.
county and get the
Well,
blessing.
Yeah, you split that, the whole street is already Hopkins Drive. So, I don't know, that would be up to the county, it's either going to
Right.
stay Hopkins Drive, or the address will change mid-street,
Right.
because there's already houses past Allison Drive
Right,
that have a Hopkins Drive address.
Right.
So,
That
I
makes
don't,
sense.
yeah, but that's really.
and that's done through
That's done through
county.
the county, yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to think what the office is.
I know, I take a lot of them down to the 911 center.
That
I know
here
they
to
sign
say
off on
emergency
them.
services or,
I know they submit them and they have to sign off on them to make sure there's no duplication.
right, so that really, I mean, it could be anything they want, I guess, as long as they approve it. It won't matter to us.
Well, I anticipate, and I don't think, we're probably not gonna, I don't know, we'll get all this done in one meeting. Do you think we will? I mean, I'm sure there's gonna be, you know, you're gonna bring stuff up and we're gonna find, well, you know, we need to do
Well, the
this.
biggest thing after the application, I mean, I think once he submits everything for the application, you guys either review it or have another meeting with him, will be to, you know, make changes on that plan there that need to be done, so it can be corrected before your final meeting.
Right. But he can go ahead and advertise in the paper.
Well, as long as you can get everything done before that meeting,
Okay.
I mean, that's really for you guys to decide with him, yeah, just to pick that date. And, I mean, there's no maximum, I mean.
Right.
If you pick a time far enough away to do, you know, the 10 days, and plus get all the,
Right.
you know, the mailings out, and have a corrected plan, I mean, then you would be fine.
Dan, how soon do you think you can get a lot of this done? Or at least get, you know, what you think you need and we can meet, I don't know, does it have to be an official meeting? Can it just be a,
Yeah, you have to, I mean, you have to advertise
Right,
it, but
okay.
you guys can, I mean.
I mean, it doesn't have to be, I mean, we can meet, I can meet anytime. I
It's
don't
not
know,
a-
I'm not
I
gonna
mean-
speak for everybody else, but if we have to meet on Saturday or
A
through
meeting
the day,
between-
through the week,
A meeting
or
between,
something.
any meeting you have in between your public hearing would just be a regular meeting, which would
Right.
have to be advertised 48 hours.
So we just really need
48
three or
hours.
4 days before we know we're gonna have a meeting, so we can have time to
48
get
hours
it.
before the meeting.
This have to be advertised.
Yeah, Robin, I mean, if you tell Robin, she'll do it, you just have to notify the media. It's kinda weird, it's really up to the media whether they wanna publish it in the
Right,
paper or not.
just
They
as long
don't-
as you
they don't
notify
have
them.
to, as long as you notify them. Correct. That's 48, minimum 48-hour notice. So.
Well, I know, I mean, a lot of hoops to jump through. I'm sure there's reasons for that. It's not only
It's pretty
protect,
sure.
you know, it's
It's
protect
pretty
the homeowner,
it's
protect
pretty-
us, protect the developer.
It's pretty streamlined from
Yeah.
going from square one. I mean, like I said, you're basically replatting what was existing before, so.
Hello?
Hi,
Manny,
man.
how are you?
Hi, Manny.
Doing good.
I found it one time 10 days before.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
So good, we're on the
yep.
same page. Okay.
Well, I guess at this point, my suggestion would be that you two get Andy, get your,
I mean, I think it has to come from the board. I mean, Andy's knowledgeable, but I don't think he can,
he's gotta be able to tell them what they need.
well, I think the
And
board,
obviously-
we as a board tell them,
Yeah.
which we have here. And I think, you know, if Dan has a question, he called you, called me, I mean, I'll be glad to do legwork to do
I
it.
think you have a copy of this already. With subdivision control, this is section 5. So basically, you don't want to write, it says, be in the letter, right over there. Here's why you want that variance.
sure I don't know if he wants to do it, or Miller's probably, you can probably hand him everything. I'm sure they'd write up, fill out everything. I'm sure it's gonna cost some money, but I think
Yeah,
it'd
since
be,
you're paying money for them to do all
it's
this.
gonna be having, oh, I done got this, I don't know how to do it.
Well, I mean, you don't have to put it back, but it'll be unbuildable.
Right.
So, I mean,
Well-
I think you get more money for a big lot than a lot you can't build on. I think that's why that's why.
They made
Paul-
it one.
That's why Paul made that one lot so big, because it has that storm drain going through it, so I mean. But I mean, ultimately, it's up to you, it doesn't have to be that way, but you'd have a lot you couldn't build on.
Dan, have you checked to see if Miller's will help you with filling all, getting it, getting it all? I know it's gonna be an expense, but I think that's part of, not everybody's a developer, because it is, there's a lot of hoops to jump through and money that's spent after your original investment.
I mean, he's willing to do any changes whatever.
But I mean, as far as even the application process, as far as knowing, or is there companies that do this for developers that, I mean, I'm sure, I'm some of your bigger developers, which I know, hell, you're not the big Pulte's
I
and all them.
apologize, this isn't something that I do.
I know, I don't think it's, none of us deal with it every day,
Actually,
so.
I've never done one before, so I'm as kind of blind about it as,
But,
as anybody.
I don't
because-
think, I personally am not, I'm not trying to make it hard on you, but I know we got regulations and, we have to go through it, and what I'm afraid of is if we just, green flag it and go, 10 years from now, another developer comes in and, he's gonna say, well, that guy didn't, he didn't have to do none of that.
If you read
And then we're,
that question, just give me a call.
So actually, the only thing that they have to do is have that redrawn to,
Well,
And
they'll have to do
rezone.
that. I mean, it's, with their application of the design standards variance, the planning commission is gonna have to vote on their application, because once now, the design standards variance is solely up to you. If you said no, the town council can't override it. It's kinda like the BZA, but
And the design standards variance is basically sidewalks and streetlights.
unless they have something else they wanna do.
Which-
But if you wanna keep it like it was already approved, those are the two things. So,
I
you
can't see
guys will
that
be.
being an issue
I
at
know,
all.
what I'm saying, you guys will be
Right.
approving that,
Right,
you'll be approving, which part of that will have to go, there's a copy of it over there. There's a copy of it at the courthouse, and you may already have a copy as the covenants, which will be recorded with all those lots. That talks about the light for the house, and then if, I don't know, Dana talked about it at one time, if they are going to revert that commercial property back to residential. I don't know, then they don't have to,
Right.
if they wanna leave it commercial, they can leave it commercial, and if they wanna apply to have that switch back to residential, which would be R4, that's what the rest of most of the town is, that'd be another decision for you guys. You approve that plan, and it gets, I know this sounds ridiculous, but the size of our town, it's how it is, it gets submitted, then, once you approve it, it gets submitted to the town council. And they will vote on it, and it is done. He will take a copy of that and his survey with all those lots, or he can have Miller do it for him, but it will go to the courthouse and will be recorded. And the easements, everything that's on that plan will all be recorded at the courthouse, and that'll be it. I mean, I know it sounds like a lot if you've never done it, but all the heavy lifting was done by Paul Hopkins.
Right,
All the big hurdles, because they're really not going from ground zero.
right.
From, taking a farm field and putting everything in, this really is,
Kinda,
it is streamlined, it really is, because it's fallen into a replat. And really, if it hadn't been for the mistake at the courthouse, he wouldn't even be here.
right,
It would just be, you have to get approval to tie on
right.
the water to our system, but it wouldn't even have to come, it wouldn't even he wouldn't even be in front of the plan commission had that not been vacated. It would still be the subdivision that it originally was. So, it's pretty cut and dry. You're
Just a matter of getting,
just reapproving.
jumping through the hoops, getting all the paperwork done,
Yep,
and that's
reapproving
the hard part.
and getting it recorded at the courthouse. I mean, but you're essentially reapproving the remainder of the unfinished subdivision that was already approved.
Brad, is
Actually,
now,
it's been approved twice. It was approved for Colonial Discount Homes, and now.
do you wanna set a date now to, maybe in a week, to get with Dan and say, hey, do you have, you got something we can look at to,
Let's,
instead of making him wait 2
let
weeks?
him
or-
get his ducks
And
and
then
let
call.
him get the work
and say,
done.
I think I got what,
Give
let
Andy
him
a
bring
call.
what he's got to the meeting and we'll,
So that we don't schedule
we'll send it back
a
if it's
meeting
not.
and then another meeting. I mean,
Yeah, you won't have to wait 2 weeks. I mean,
if he
they
gets,
don't have a lot to do. I mean, if they
Should,
finish that up
should,
this week, I mean, you could even have.
should have the town council or the attorney here for any of this, or do we all kinda, I mean, is there any,
He's here now, but
are we?
it's pretty.
I just heard about it about 5
Oh,
minutes
I didn't
ago.
realize
It's
you-
pretty,
I mean, is there
pretty cut and
something
dry.
that,
it's pretty cut and dry, but
he just has to have everything that he needs, and
Right.
that's where I'm in the dark.
Right.
I mean, where I just,
and I
I've
think
read
that's why
this.
it's gonna take us,
I've
not
read
only
this and
are,
read it and read it.
am I
you know,
learning, I think Dan's learning, I think everybody's learning that,
We are.
if
sure,
they
it
get-
looks easy, but then you start doing it, it's like,
if they get
damn,
this,
this is a little more than what I thought. This
they
is
get
more
this
than
stuff
going, hey, I'm
together-
gonna put a road in and put some houses in there.
if they get this stuff together this week or by Monday or whenever, and call, you guys can set up a meeting, review that, and, I mean, you could even have that meeting next week, as long as you advertise 48 hours in advance, and then, you can set your, final hearing date, give them enough time to send out all the
Right.
notification, legal notices to
Look
everybody.
over, if something missing, this is what's missing,
Right.
get it, you know,
Two big issues, knowing nothing about the project, but two big issues with plats and new subdivisions is environmental and whether your water can hook up and service
No.
Well,
this many.
this is the thing, you missed the part, but this subdivision was approved twice. It was approved in the early 80s for Colonial Discount Homes, which didn't happen.
Okay,
Another developer, local guy, bought it and jumped through the hoops, made some changes to it, but basically the lot layout is the same.
Oh.
He approved it. Well, what happened at Hamilton County, they had both of them recorded on the same property, so there was like 2 parcel numbers for every lot and all this, and the county came back to us, and the last developer had to vacate 2 remaining sections because all the sewer's already in, a lot of this infrastructure's already in the ground,
oh, good,
and there's houses built out there already in 3 other sections. There's 2 that had to be vacated,
yeah,
and he never replatted those 2 sections.
okay,
So basically, what they're trying to do is replat the 2 remaining sections identically to the last one that was approved.
okay.
But yeah,
And he's done his phase 1 and environmental
phase
stuff, all that
phase
stuff.
1, 2, and 3 are
Good.
done. 4 and 5 are left. 5 is the biggest of the 2 that are
Yeah.
left. But the sewer is already all installed. That's already all been approved by them. The water, our engineers reviewed all the plans. It's probably about 30% of the water's already in on this last section too
Okay.
already. So all that stuff, like I said, it's kind of a streamlined process for them, was done by the last guy. So it's just submitting a replat, 2 design standard variances, because the rest of the subdivision, it doesn't have street lights, it's got dusted on lights, or, like a light post in each yard. And then there aren't sidewalks out there.
Okay.
So those are really the two things to keep it consistent with what's already been built.
Are they asking the town to help with sidewalks or the county or anybody?
No,
Okay,
there won't be any. I mean, there's not, if you put
think,
sidewalks, if you put sidewalks in this section now, they would go nowhere.
got it.
I mean, you just walk.
Dan will probably request that, and I don't see any reason why it's not gonna be approved, I mean, I
Right.
can't see you guys making him for a whole addition that doesn't have sidewalks and streetlights, all of a sudden.
Now, you
we
gotta
need-
have sidewalks go nowhere.
But I think it's just a matter of jumping through that hoop. I mean, you still gotta ask for it.
Then along the highway, there's 5 or 6 lots that are commercial now that were originally residential.
So they may ask to,
Still have
back
to
to
switch them
residential.
back.
got it.
Are you gonna do that, Dan? You gonna ask that this be?
Go back to residential. Yeah, which it started out, and then the next guy decided he wanted commercial, and they want to put it back to residential housing. So those are,
Quick question, Andy, for you. Can that be included in that letter as well, or, because I know you said the 2 issues, switching back the lots from,
yeah, no, that's what I said,
Commercial
I would put it all in one letter, you know, you're.
okay, I just wanted to make sure that
Just
last
2
issue.
very
could be
strict
included.
standards, yeah, do the streetlights, your sidewalks, and then, you know, have a
Now-
second paragraph.
Now, at the time of the submission of the application, is that when they bring the
The letter,
money,
yeah.
the check, or
Yeah, they can
however
bring all
you
that,
guys
I
do
mean, they can
that?
bring all that up here ahead of time and
Okay.
drop it off, and, you know, they only
Now,
need-
how's
they-
this-
They only need a couple things, I mean.
Does the
really.
town's engineer determine the bond? How much of a bond?
Yeah,
Do we know what that is?
I don't, but you don't need it till final approval.
Okay.
I would have to call Jim, he didn't, it's not in that letter, you guys have a copy of that letter. I mean, they got a formula, it's
Right.
based on
How much?
tree footage and infrastructure. I don't know.
So the maintenance bond will be, after we get everything in the ground, then we apply for the maintenance bond for the 3-year maintenance.
After everything's done and accepted, then you apply for it.
Then is there a performance bond as well?
Well, that'll be
That
for the
fall under
infrastructure,
that's the
it's 2
infra-
separate ones,
okay.
yeah, I mean, there'll be a bond for putting them in, and once that's completed, once everything's completed.
So there's a
tested,
bond
approved,
on installation,
That'll
that's
be,
that's
that'll-
released
once
after
it's done,
everything's.
that'll be released, and
Then-
once the town accepts the streets and the infrastructure, then is it's a 3-year maintenance bond in our ordinance,
And after 3 years, no problem, that's released.
it's done, yeah.
I guess now the next thing is, Dan, we'll wait to hear from you. When you need, you know, I got my stuff, I need a meeting, and I'm available anytime. Just me, I mean, I ain't
Majority
speaking
of
for
us
everybody
are.
else, like, you give me an hour's notice, I can be up here.
You read that other question, Colin. All right.
And if, on the addressing of the street, if you need help with that, I'll try to find out from the courthouse what that process is. I'm sure there's some sort of, I'm sure there's gonna be a form you gotta fill out and a fee attached to it. The
I don't know,
government
is
doesn't
that-
do nothing for free.
It's that form, yeah, I don't remember, it's been so long, but I know you submit that thing for your street name, and then they assign the numbers too.
Any other questions or comments tonight? Neil?
And I just wondered if they had any questions since it involves them.
Yeah, you guys have any questions tonight, or?
I was just wondering, now, do you just plan to sell lots and then let the owners pick their own contractor, or are you gonna sell the house and lot altogether, or how's it, what do you do?
Well, we haven't got that far yet. We got, everybody's kind of waiting on us to get approval.
Yeah, I understand.
And then as far as marketing it,
Well, you haven't planned that far ahead yet.
no, because they don't.
Probably kinda hard to market it when there's no street there.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I didn't know,
We've got people calling us now
yeah,
that wants to know in the morning, they just want to know in the morning if I got the approval.
What the deal is.
And then they would, you know, I'd have to assign something with them for.
well, I didn't know if you had gone in like with like Arbor Homes, I didn't know if you'd gone in with them and they were gonna do all the contracting work or anything like that.
No,
You haven't done any of that.
there's nobody interested in doing anything out there
I
right
see.
now.
I
As far
understand.
as, because it's not, the streets are not there, there's nothing to market,
I see, okay.
so nobody's interested. And we haven't even tried to get anybody interested.
I understand. Mhm.
Okay, Andy, thank you very much. much, Rick. I know you had other plans this evening, but I appreciate that.
Thanks, Andy.
Guiding us through this. And like I said, I apologize. That's just the way it is. I'm learning too as I go, so.
But I think the ultimate decision lies with us. I mean,
Yeah, goes with you guys and you send it to the town board and then.
Valentine's Day? Good for you.
Hey, Maggie,
I nearly forgot.
Any other questions or comments? Do I hear a motion that we adjourn the meeting?
I make motion we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Valentine's Day.